Painting the eyes and facial features of models are typically the step that completes a piece. These details are very important and bring the life into models that you create. This video will cover how I paint eyes and facial features on Microminis, Stablemates, and classic and traditional sized models. For this tutorial, you will need a dark color such as black or black-gray, pale sand, tan earth, a metallic gold or copper, and titanium white. I first start off by mixing a bit of pale sand with tan earth to create a more off-white and dirty color that will be used for the sclera, or white part of the eye of the model. I will start painting the eye with the pale sand and tan earth mixture I created and place that all over the eye of the model. Next, I wet my brush and take tan earth and lay it around all the outside edges of the eye to add depth. This is what the model looks like with the whites of the eyes completed. Next, I will be adding a darker color to my palette, such as the black or black-gray. This color will be used to make the pupil. I first start by deciding what direction I want my model looking in. I'll then take my darker color and paint the pupil in that corresponding direction. Always make sure you leave a little bit of white left in the eye so the viewer knows which direction the horse is looking. On smaller models, it can be hard to add detail into the iris and pupil, so instead I add a pop of color. I do this by adding metallic gold or metallic copper to where the iris should be in the horse's eye. This gives the small eyes a bit of depth and realism. Next, I go back in with the black-gray to paint around the eye and cover up any mistakes that might have gone outside the lines. I then use a bit more of the black-gray and combined it with pale sand to make a more neutral gray color. This will be used to line the details and highlights of the skin around the eye. After I have highlighted the eyelids and beneath the eye, I take titanium white and add a few dots on the upper eyelid to create the illusion of eyelashes. And that is how I paint Stablemate-sized eyes, and this is what the completed piece looks like. When painting Micromini-sized eyes, I follow the same process, starting with painting the white of the eye or the sclera. I typically do not use tan earth to line the outside of Micromini eyes because they're so small and the brown typically makes them appear too muddy. However, I will paint the pupil the same way as I did on the Stablemate. Similarly to painting Stablemate-sized models, painting details of the iris can be difficult on Microminis. Instead, I will use metallic gold or copper to add a pop of color to the eye. I then use the black-gray to outline the eye, and then use the mixture of black-gray and pale sand to add highlights to the eyelids and underneath the eye. You can also use this mixture to add highlights to the facial artery and vein to add more detail and depth to the face of your model. I also often use this mixture to highlight the nostrils and the wrinkles around the mouth and nose. I paint the eyes of classic and traditional size models the same way, starting with using the pale sand and tan earth mixture to highlight the sclera or white part of the eye. I then wet my brush and use tan earth to add shadow and depth to the outside portions of the eye. And again, I'll go in with black or black gray to add the details of the pupil. Since classic and traditional size models are larger, it's easier to paint the iris on these models. I'll take tan earth or any dark brown color that I find matches the model the best and paint it around the edges of the pupil to separate the pupil from the outline of the eye. On top of this layer, I'll add the metallic gold or copper to the edge of the iris to make it pop. I then like to take iridescent pearl and mix it with a blue color and apply it in a thin line along the bottom edge of the pupil. I then again go in with the black gray and outline the eye. I'll use the mixture of black gray and pale sand to highlight the eyelids and the margin underneath the eye. While using the dark gray and pale sand mixture to highlight the eye, I will often also use it to highlight the facial artery and vein. Depending on the color of the horse, you may also want to use it to highlight the facial crest along the cheeks of the horse. And finally, I'll go in with titanium white to add the eyelashes above the eye. After completing the model and spraying with a matte varnish, I will gloss the eyes and nostrils for added realism. that is how I paint eyes and facial details on classic and traditional size models, Stablemate size models, and Microminis. Thank you so much for watching.